club doing numbers, yeah, my mama would be proud. Rose sent the black bottles, we gon' pass them all around. Real black designer, I be dope, bear it down. Ain't in politics, but I'm the mayor of this town.
Yo, we're back. Allinradio.com. It's Royal Fam Hour. I'm your humble host, OL Knows, here with my brother and friend, Mr. Fab, and Chef Kenneth Wynn, who I've known Ken, about 15 years plus, at least, when we start out. 18 years, okay.
18,
man. Maxwell's is where we started out.
Way back.
And he was management, and then he was able to start the catering business and was cooking and was hosting events. And then he was like, yo, I need somebody to help me on the floor, and I just need you to do exactly what you do in general. And he said, all right, cool. So I began to become his floor manager. And that went from year one to now. So if he ever calls me for something, if I got a free hand, I'm always there. And when I was in between jobs, Ken made sure I missed neither meal nor bill. He put me on everything from $1 to $200 or $300, or yo, I got something coming up. It's a short one. I got you. So before I got to Kaiser, I was blessed with the opportunity by all what Ken did. So Ken publicly, and I know I tell that story because a lot of people don't know that if it had not been for people praying for me and not praying on me, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And it's the kindness of others which we should always remember and acknowledge. I talk about Fab because of the fact that someone was when his club just opened, we were outside and I hadn't seen it yet. And he said, before we go in, I had to find myself defending your name. And I said, who? He said, you. I said, I'm not Chinese. I'm L. He said, I ain't talking about, I'm talking about L. Khalid McCree. And so we talked about it, and he said, you are that important to the community. And so I will always protect your name. And that meant something to me because you never know how people feel about you on this side of life until you go. And then they crying and doing all this and that. Man, listen, y'all see me every Sunday. You know, you see the events. You know what I mean? So we just having some great conversation here, y'all. Please forgive me. I'm selfish today because I have two influential people in my life here, and we just hanging out talking as friends, as people should. And we're here talking about the topic mental awareness, mental health awareness. I had a doctor from the Roots org come through. Dr. Tim came through. He has a Cut the Hypertension program where he teams up with barbershops, and he provides a free haircut if you get a blood pressure reading. You don't have to have benefits. You just have to belong to that barbershop. And so my blood pressure machine just came in the mail. He not in the mail. He brought it to Hello Stranger on Sunday. It was like, here, I promise you this. It's your right cuff size, so it's not going to be too tight to where I may not want to take it because it don't
Do you
feel
have high
good.
blood pressure?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what I'm saying? It's under control, so don't start tripping, y'all that are watching this. But you have to be honest because of the fact that I also talk about how I fought through depression. I'm not in depression. I fought through it. And so and that was 2020 to 2022. That was a rough one. And so talking about that, man, if it had not been for my doctor and a praying family who was like, I don't know what's going on with El, but he's not jovial. He's not happy. And that close to what you're talking about, people are scared to talk about how they feel. You checked up or you had on your live, you said, a person said, man, how come you so positive, man? What's up all this positivity? Man, why not?
You got to understand, man.
Man.
Like I said a little bit, what we talked about, it's easy to hold in that kind of energy and not talk about it because we're more feared about being embarrassed and being judged than we are being healed.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I have a friend who has a child. She's a parent of an autistic child. Her child has autism. For several years, she refused to get her child help because she would write it off as, ain't nothing wrong with him. He cool. He just, trying this. But it was
different.
He's just different.
Right.
But what it ended up winding down to was she was embarrassed that her child had autism and that it would make her look, the eyes would be on her instead of the help being on him. So what we have a problem dealing with is we have a problem dealing with being embarrassed and being viewed and judged by the things that we may say or by the things that we're going through. We're more worried about being judged than we are being healed.
Right.
And starting the healing process when you look at someone who may have survival guilt, mother's guilt, father's guilt, environmental guilt, successfully guilty. Some people are ashamed that they're doing better than others.
Right.
And
They're terrified of it.
And so they hold themselves in solitude, and now they become their own success. So every time they come around, they don't answer the phone anymore because they feel like, oh, he only wants some money. They don't. My auntie called me the other day, and I hate to quit, keep jumping around, but they all connect. My auntie called me, and she said, baby, I need a couple dollars. And I say, man, I ain't really, I don't got it right now. And she was like, well, baby, I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't be calling you if I didn't need it. And she say, now what I need is not a lot compared to what I know you can provide. I just need a couple dollars. I need $50, $100. Now, mind you, I got a couple dollars in my pocket, right? But I'm so in my mind, like, man, I ain't the person you just call when you need something. And then she broke down a story to me. She said something, and it really woke my game up because I was being focused on just me, and I was being selfish. But sometimes you have to be selfish. But I was being selfish to a fault. And she told me this. She said, baby, every generation gets their ones. She was like, in this generation of the family, you're that one. She was like, in my generation, I was that one. So I know what you're talking about. I know what it is when you feel like people only call you when they want something, or when the times are bad and you're their survival, you're their ace in the hole, you're their relief pitcher, you're everything. She said, I've been all of that. I can't tell you that I've been all of that by just, that I've been all of that because I've been that for you and your mother at times. And I'm not bragging about what I've done. I'm not embellishing on the fact of, I'm not using this to advertise my accolades. What I'm doing is I am a one of my generation, and I see you as a one of your generation. So accepting that role and responsibility, this is what comes with it.
Wow.
Man, I ended up sending her like $200. Because it was so humbling. Yeah. But the reality of it made me realize that. You ever been somebody in position and didn't get anything for Christmas, but everybody asked you to get something for Christmas? You see, it's a blessing to be a blessing.
Yes, yeah.
So when you say, damn, nobody got me nothing for Christmas, but I got everybody else for Christmas. See, you already blessed. You blessed because you're in position to be a blessing provider. You're able. So you're so worried about what you're receiving at that moment, you forgot what you've received in those moments. And what you've received already. And then understanding that when you process that, it becomes more vivid. Oh, I'm already blessed. Now, this gift won't be a testament to my blessings. Me providing these gifts, that's the testament.
There it is.
And I'm here to share my testimony because I give God all the glory for my story. So understanding that there are many of us that we are ones of our generations, and it's a lot of responsibility that
taking it. I just want you to know.
For real.
No. That just because because we stopped picking up phone calls. People come out of the house. You turn down the blinds. Hey, shh.
Right.
Hey, outside. I smell cooking. Ain't no food. You start lying about stuff.
For
you know what I'm
real,
saying?
instead of
Yeah.
and so I said that to say this. I said that because yesterday my auntie calls me and I'm looking at the phone like, man, and some say answer the phone. So I answered and she said, "Baby, I got my apartment."
Wow.
She said, I'm not calling you to ask you for anything. What I'm calling you is to tell you thank you."
Right.
She said, "I'm calling you to tell you thank you because when I was in a binge and I was stuck between blessings and I was in those valleys." Because, we go through these valleys.
Yes, we do.
Even in scripture it says, as I walk
Yea.
through the valley.
Of.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And the valley is a peak and a walking creek.
That's it.
Come on, man.
And
That's
so
it.
she said, I was in the valley and I was in a binge. And you extended a lifeline to me. And I'm just calling you to tell you thank you. She say, and I don't want nothing. She say, but I appreciate you adhering to your role of your generation. And so I tell this to anybody out there that may be going through some things or that may be embracing their one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna seem like everybody wants you to do something, but nobody there for you. And those are what nobody told us that this job would be easy. And our resume doesn't suffice because you can't prepare for this role.
Right.
You have to learn on the job. It ain't no job training for this. You got to learn on the job. So as we learning on the job, I tell y'all, don't run away from your responsibilities and don't become a creator of distractions so you can defer from what really going on. Accept it.
It's a calling.
It's a calling because it's a blessing to have that phone ring. It's a blessing to have that phone ring. Now, if you don't answer,
Right.
then you avoiding that calling. And you see what happened to Jonah when he avoided the caller. He said, man, God, I don't want to go there. No, I ain't going there. I'm running away. And he ran away.
Try to.
He tried to run away. Then he got swallowed. And we don't know if it was a whale, a fish, a shark. All we know it was something. It could have been a submarine for all we knew.
Right.
But he was on the shores of Neverfor. Neverfor, whatever the city may be. Pardon my mispronunciation of it.
It's okay.
But when he got out of the fish's mouth, he was spit out right where he was supposed to be. You can't run from what God wants you to do. You know what I'm saying? And this don't have a religion to it. Like if you read the Bible, you read the Quran, you read the Torah, whatever it is, whatever your basis of peace comes from. I'm not here to convert a person to my religious beliefs or any of that. But what I am saying, the stories are all compatible and they all lessons of life. And only the names of the characters change, but the characteristics are the same. It's always going to be a Peter, a Paul, a Saul, a Mark, a Matthew,
Judas
a
for
David,
sure.
a Judas, a Johnny, a Joe. It's going to always be
Yeah,
those. They just might be named Jamal.
Right.
Or his name might be Jeffrey, but the characteristics of mankind stay the same.
Job.
That's why you have to study. You got to study everything that's around you and by you.
And ask questions too.
And then ask questions. And embrace it. And be honest.
Because you might not know. Like, I hold on to some stuff that Job, he man, a perfect and upright man, a man that feared God and stayed away from evil and went through some things, man.
For sure.
But because he stayed true, he got double. And I told a friend this recently. I said, listen, I was talking to my homeboy, and he was talking about how, man, he had a job, lost his job. He was waiting. And then now he's at Kaiser. Now he's getting paid twice as much. I said, why? Because because of who he is. I was like, you stayed true to his people. You were nice. You're kind. You know what I'm saying? And so the double is not going to be financial. It could be health, reasoning, mental fortitude. I would love to get paid twice in mental fortitude, especially with family. You know what I'm saying? Like God bless those people again who take time to talk to you. And what we're missing are the elders and the uncles.
I had I'm eating at this place called Screen Door yesterday, and in Portland. And it's crazy that you say that your last words were elders. And I see this black elderly couple walking in, and this lady had a a smile on her face that you can tell. She had a grace that didn't age. And even though she was an elderly woman, she still had a youthful grace. And as I was walking into the restaurant, I spoke to her and I said, "Hello, ma'am, how are you?" And she was shocked that that I spoke to her, and she's, and I could see how she responded. Like, okay, she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I referenced the man and hello. And they sat down, and we all sat down. We were all eating. They sat down behind us. And when we went to have our food, and we ate our food, and the waiter came, and I said, "Can you give me that check as well?" And
Man.
I paid for that check, and I didn't. We just walked out. I didn't say bye or anything to her, and I just walked out. And my dude looked at me. He was like, "What was that for?" I say, "Man, because we've gotten so far away from taking care of our elders. We've gotten so far away from not noticing each other, not speaking to each other, that there are small, simple things, empathy and sympathy and gratitude and gratefulness and thankfulness. These are the things that show who you truly are in character. So even if I may not be financially where I want to be, if you weigh my character and value, I'm wealthy." And in that richness, I'm thankful, man, and I'm blessed, because there are things that I may not be able to afford financially, but in my spirit, I done bought it twice. You know what I'm saying? I done bought it twice, and I do right by people, and it's a conundrum, because even with ego of man, I'm not exempt from. So having things be who I am and the ego that I have, because of my ego has always had to be a defense mechanism. These were we've created ego to be a defense versus things that we're insecure about. And as men, these are battles that we fight, and these are challenges that we fight
Daily.
And it's a daily battle.
Daily.
So when you're dealing with these things and you're fighting these things, you got to learn to say, "Hey, I'm okay with losing a fight and winning the war." You know what I'm saying? Because it's a war with ourselves.
Right.
And as men, we are constantly at war with ourselves, and we have to understand that we don't just push pawns in the war just because they're sacrificial soldiers. We have to learn to value them. I'm not just going to push a pawn into a war just because I didn't want to go. We must value each other. We must value our friends. We must value our mentors. We must value our elders. And when we begin to pour value on each other, therefore, we can become back valuable as a people. And that's when we become resourceful, because we can pull from each other's value. Our friendships have equity.
Yeah.
Our relationships have equity.
No big eyes and small U's.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The only bridge that I can't go is a bridge that I felt like it was only leading me back to a destructive version of myself. So I burned that bridge. I'm okay with burning those bridges, because those bridges don't do nothing but lead me back to the lower vibrating frequencies of myself.
Yeah, don't poke that bear.
So let me burn that bridge, because as a man, I may be tempted to go back that way.
Yeah.
Especially when I've been missing all my jump shots. And I gotta go to the hole now.
Right.
I gotta go to the hole. I gotta go to the hole now.
Gotta change up something.
let me trust in this jump shot.
Yeah.
Because if I go to the hole, I know what's in the hole.